Welcome everyone to Your Little Castle Show. We've got another awesome business owner here going to share some of the tips and trade secrets that they have for helping to run a successful business and landscaping. Your company name is Opperman Hardscape. I like that name. And I tell you, if you're going to make a house look beautiful, you might as well get some landscaping done that makes it look good. Is that right? I mean, how much goes into a house on the outside of your house that you want to, waterfalls? I showed you guys a little bit of my waterfall, gave me some tips to say, here's some things you should do differently. Here's some things you could fix. That's why you bring in the pros. I do it yourself. It's a little pond. If I did a bigger one, I'd definitely have to bring somebody in. But we got experts here that are really going to help us understand what you need to do to make this happen. So on the far end there, Justin and your wife, you guys have been married now for 5 years. Vanessa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, tell me, what is it like running and owning a landscaping company?
Stressful is what
Chaotic.
I would say.
All right, Justin, tell me about it when you got started.
About 20 years ago is when I got into the profession. And about 6 years ago, I started doing it for myself. It's a family business. My son works with me, and we got one or two other employees, so it's a real small business. But yeah, about 20 years.
20 years, you started when you were like 7, because you don't look like you're that
Yeah, yeah, when I was 16, and I'm 37 now.
Okay.
So.
Vanessa, what was it like getting into this business? You guys quit your full-time jobs. Now you're doing this for how many years now? You guys been together running the business now?
Officially running the business without other jobs, 6 years.
6 years, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's eventful.
Eventful. Tell me why you like it. What do you enjoy working with your husband doing this?
It's very rewarding. I mean, he has a gift that a lot of people just don't have. And he's able to look at a blank yard or a yard that might be a little messed up and turn it into something amazing. So it's very rewarding.
Okay, so tell me then, why is it? What was the impetus behind this, Justin, for you to get into this business? Why did you decide to be
I
landscaper?
I don't know, even since I was a little kid, just playing with my Legos. I like to build. I like to create. I like to make things that weren't already there before. So going to these houses and completely changing the landscape and setting up their future memories they're going to have with their kids and family, and it's very rewarding.
Vanessa, you agree with that?
I do.
Is that?
And watching him, like if he's putting a retaining wall in, he looks like a kid playing with giant Legos while you watch the process.
Yeah, we're singing and sometimes dancing. We have a good time.
Well, I mean, that's what we want to talk about, and we just think that having a solid foundation for the family is so important. With that, we're putting up on the screen, everybody, on the wall, our sponsors. This show's brought to you by Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things. Oh, look at what we did here. In your little castle. And I've got, let me switch the wrong screen over. There it is. So look behind me, in your little castle. So that's why we emphasize that. And then, of course, you can't have a nice house unless you have a way to pay for it. And that's where we talk about our friends over at USA Mortgage and what they've done to help us, powered by the Flowers team here. So with that, we come full circle here. Everything you need for the happy household. All right, tell me then, I mean, as a matter of getting into this, you guys have been very successful at this. What was the path that led you here when you said, this is what I want to do? I mean, you hinted at it a little bit, building Legos. I was a Lego guy.
Yeah.
Legos are fun.
Yeah, when I would say probably in my mid-20s, I was getting a little worrisome about, it's hard on your body. It's very rough work on your body. And so I was getting a little worried about maybe I should do an inside job, something at a desk. And I tried it, and every day I hated going to work. So I'd find myself doing side jobs on the weekend just so I could be out building, and I just went back to doing it full time. And I have good help now and machines, so I can save my back a little bit.
So outside work with heavy lifting, but some of that heavy lifting is done by some of the mechanics you can buy. These big, what are some of the devices? What do you buy?
We got the John Deere skid loader for the big stuff. We got to do bigger patios. Sometimes we'll do a 4,000 square foot patio, and we can knock that out in a day digging that with the Deere, where we have a little ditch which we use. Okay. If we're going in somebody's backyard, it's only 3 feet wide. We can go through a gate and put plywood down and not mess up anybody's grass. Keep it all nice and neat and clean.
Okay, yeah. I mean, those are the things that you learn to use this heavy equipment so that you can make sure to get get this job done with. Digging with the I did a little digging this weekend. I didn't tell you, but part of the reason we went down to the property that I was working on is we wanted to bury the Ethernet line. We had it going over through the trees, and that was neat. But we found out the wire for whatever was only 100 megabit, and it just Cat 5 versus Cat 6. I'm a little bit of a nerdy guy, and so I bought this wire about the same price, but I had to bury it. I dug that trench across the whole 60 foot from go to one building to the other with a little shovel.
I used to do that.
What could I have done better to do that?
I used to do that, but now we just throw our trencher on. It's an attachment onto the ditch witch or the deer, and you just push forward and yeah, just enjoy the show. It digs it for you. Throw the pipe in, put the bucket on, smooth it out, and you're good to go.
Well, there you go. That's why you get experts to do the work for you, because my arms and shoulders are still hurting. Do I look a little more worked out today? Well, good work. We appreciate that. That's what part of the expertise that you bring here to share with everybody. So, was there a particular hobby when you were a kid that kind of led to this? I mean, you talked about Legos a little bit. Why? What
the Legos, tree houses, just any kind of building. I just loved it. I love the building, just crafts in general, art. I like beautiful things and creating beautiful things.
There you go. And that's part of what we like. We like to see beautiful things. You got a beautiful wife. Got to have beautiful landscaping.
Yeah. Well, and Opperman, one of the meanings is worker with stone. So it's
okay.
It's like I was just born to be it anyway.
I gotcha. I did not know that. That's interesting because literally living what your name says.
Yeah.
Now I'm somebody who also enjoyed construction, and when you said forts, we built little forts up in the tree houses and all that kind of stuff. I just decided to go a different way. Maybe I should have stuck with what you're doing.
Well, even my kids, my 8-year-old, he has different boxes that he made out of sticks to keep his rocks in that he finds outside. It's in the bloodline, I think.
Okay. Yeah, he's a big fan of rocks.
Vanessa, tell us, what's it like being part of this whole operation? You're helping you're the one that kind of coordinates and organizes and is a spokesperson.
I am. It's very busy and fun and rewarding because I get to talk with a lot of our customers and find out what their needs are, and then Justin and I will talk about it, and then we're able to, transform their yard into what they dreamed of. So it's very rewarding.
Well, that's key to it, especially if you're going to get into business within the family, so that both of you, your husband and wife, making sure you've got that cohesion, so where you can work together well. Yep. It sounds like you've worked out a system, right? We're going to show off a lot of your work here. Got some of it behind me here, some of the patios and stuff you've done. Pretty amazing what you've done, and we're going to showcase a lot of that for everybody as we continue here. And I want to even pop up on the screen here your website. So just so everybody knows, if you do want to get more information, check them out. This is a great looking website here. I'm going to put this up on the screen for everybody, but Opperman Hardscape, OPPERMAN. And take a look here, a little bit about our couple here and what they do, the services. Now, decorative and functioning relative, retaining walls, fire pits, outdoor kitchens, and additional services anybody needs constructed. If you look at some of the work here, oh wow! So remind me, what was the? We had a couple good pictures. I tell you, one we had. That's why we had this up. This picture right here, I've got on the wall for everybody to see. Talk about this one. This is on the wall for everybody to see right now. Tell everybody what was going on here. What went into this job? You like this because it was this is 4,000 square foot or something.
Oh no, this one. This is a smaller, typical patio, probably 250 square foot or so. They opted for the 2 pillars with the seating wall in between. And on the seating wall, those are 60-pound blocks each, so they're all nice and strong. You don't have to worry about bumping into them with a lawnmower or anything. They're going to be there. They're going to be tough. And then they got the fire pit and the tumbled Belgian patio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tumbled Belgian patio, everybody. They're giving out these technical terms. That sounds like you know what you're doing when you talk about tumbled Belgian patio.
Yeah.
It's a good stone.
Yeah, you can use it for driveways. You can use it for patios. It's reversible if you want it textured. Or if 10 years down the road you want to reshape your patio, you can pull those stones out and you still have all your materials and flip them over and have a smooth patio.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'd be a little creative, dual purpose. You can.
Yeah, and unlike concrete, where you got to pay to have it hauled off or removed when you don't want it anymore, or if it's cracked or something, you just pick up your materials and relay them and however you want.
There you go.
And it adds equity to your house, so it's really a win-win. That goes good with the house flipping that we like to do also.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about that, and I say when you're getting into this, and these stones are 60 pounds each. That's pretty heavy. Those aren't going anywhere.
No.
I showed you my little fountain. Those stones I had in the front, they actually had started slanting down.
Yeah,
and I should
yeah.
have put some gravel underneath that.
We're asked to use those a lot, but I can't. I can't do it.
Interesting. All right, very cool. Well, great stuff. Tell me then, with regard to your entire business, what fuels your passion? What is it that helps you to wake up every day and say, I love what I do as I put together a great looking patio for somebody in their house?
Well, for me, with us having the 5 boys and with how crazy this world's getting, I really like that they can stick with me, and I know they have my morals, and they're able to build with me and learn how to do life and how to do business and how to work hard and how to take care of responsibilities. And there's nothing more as a man that I could ask for to have that for my kids.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Vanessa?
That's part of it. And for me, you know, like the large job that we did, the 4,000 square foot patio. That was a situation where there were some health issues with the customers, and they just wanted to be able to create a paradise at home, since leaving was kind of off limits. And so we were able to do that for them. And like, I know for us, we've redone our backyard and put in a patio and a basketball court, and the 7 of us never leave. I mean, rarely. If we have to for work, we will, but usually we spend a lot of quality family time in the backyard. And because of Justin's talent, we're able to give that to other people. So
not everybody has the time to go on a vacation, go to Florida here, go to Texas there. It's busy lives these days, and so it's just nice to have a nice place you can get away in your own backyard, have a patio with a fire pit and a privacy fence around there, and it really changes everything.
yeah.
So you guys are actually building their little castle.
It
Yeah.
is.
This is like your little kingdom, and you got everything you need there. There's no reason to leave because everything you need is there. Entertainment,
Right.
fun, outdoors, everything. That's got to be exciting.
It is. It's
love
wonderful. Like, us redoing our backyard was the best thing we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we put in a 500 square foot sandbox at our house.
30 tons of sand in this sandbox for our kid.
Wow. Okay. So this is something the joy you get to bring to others. You get to kind of live through that and helping other people to
Well, I like to do all the projects I like to do at our house also. So that way I can see, like, I have the tumbled Belgian at home, and I have the pillars, and I have all that. So that way I know what it's going to look like 2 years from now. I know how the weather treats it. I know I'm able to keep an eye on it.
Well, that's key, especially if you can practice what you preach. So you put a lot of these into place, and you've built them yourself, and so now you know how to actually improve upon what you've learned and
Right.
put this in place for other people.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's take a look. You've got some great reviews too, so I want to show with everybody. When you check out a business, you usually are looking to see what they do online and see what kind of information is out there about them. And I tell you, Home Advisor has become a major site for people to get information about people. You guys have been in business here, is this right? 23 years total. And I was looking at your reviews. Where did they go? Oh yeah, at the very top. 28, is that right? 28 reviews and 100% recommended. 4.9 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing this right. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
This isn't like some little hobby, some little practice thing. This is something that makes a big difference. And you've been doing so long, you get these kind of reviews from people. I bet you didn't even ask for those. Those are people that came out and gave us figure it out.
And we do a lot of research, and we go to the shop, and we do a lot of just practicing different methods, different machines for compaction, different ways and methods to do what we do, and we find the best and we stick with it.
And I also want to mention for everybody, you're also A+ rated on the BBB, so that's kind of exciting for everybody to see too. Well, great stuff you've got there. Take a look at the website. But great work and great reviews you've got there. So it's got to be very satisfying for you, all the work you get to do for people, because now you're really letting people build their own little oasis, their own little castle for them to enjoy and live. Let's take a look here. I'm going to put up a little more of some of the work you've done here on the. Tell us a little bit. I'm just scrolling through here, but I love waterfalls, man. You saw the little waterfall thing I built. This is pretty cool. Tell everybody what we're looking at here on the screen to the right here for you.
Okay, so this one was, she wanted to have a waterfall, but she didn't want to have a pond. She didn't want a body of water.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that was actually a staircase back there, concrete staircase.
I got you.
That she wanted covered up. So we actually brought in some natural stone. We dug in. There is a pond under here, but it has a vault, and that's where all the components of this pump and waterfall go into.
And the water just cycles through it.
Yep, you fill it with rock. The water comes through, recycles up the hill into the back, and just keeps on going.
And she
Gives that sound of the waterfall, but without the sitting water sometimes might cause mosquitoes or just more maintenance. So it's an easier way to have a waterfall.
And she's older, so with the filter, it's a very easy clean out. You just turn the lid, pull the filter out, clean it out, and put it back in.
Has a washout like a pool. It's, yeah, very convenient.
Okay, yeah, I did that earlier today myself. I was cleaning out the fish pond before I came to the studio, and it's very mucky and sticky and fish stuff in there.
You don't want to deal with that all the time.
When you clean it all out, you make these filters easy for people, then it's also low maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody has extra work for something else, they have to maintain.
There's actually a skimmer on this one as well.
Okay, point to where that is. I've got it up on the screen still.
You can't see it.
Okay,
Yep,
but
right
it's
there.
is it right underneath?
The skimmer is underneath these flagstone. Is where the skimmer, or yeah, I think it was underneath them flagstone.
Okay.
And then everything goes into what you see over here was this reservoir in the ground.
Okay, the reservoir off to the right. Gotcha. Okay, well designed, very well thought out, very cool. All right, tell me a little bit different angle, the same waterfall. Here's this fire pit. This is one we looked at earlier, and this is made out of what kind of stones are used there?
This is a different home, but it's actually the same fire pit and with the same tumbled Belgian patio. They just went with a different color and a different pattern. Several different patterns you can use with that stone.
Okay, nice work. Yeah, let's keep on going. I like this, what we're seeing here. This is all on your Facebook page. Check them out. Opperman Hardscape on Facebook. So up on the screen here, tell me what this is. This is a pretty big layout here. What all went into this?
A lot. There was actually a swimming pool where the patio is.
Okay.
And the homeowner had filled it in, and they wanted a nice patio, and where the dirt is outside of the patio, they actually put a putting green in.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So they just wanted a nice living area that was enjoyable because they look over the lake, and so we came in and graded their yard out. The guys put in this massive patio and staircase, and
this is actually a drainage system in this rock that goes down through there.
Okay, very cool. Well, you guys do some magical work there, and we want to keep letting people see what's some. So this is a pathway that goes out to the lake for them from there too, I guess too.
Yeah.
All right, and you just can see some of the outside there. You can raise somebody's parking.
Raised garden.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And some more angles for the work you got. Well, keep up the great work. We appreciate what you're doing here for families, because so much of what we do is spend the time. We want to have a nice place for our family and friends and to get together and create relationships and enjoy our life. I mean, how many people that spend most of their time at their house, you know?
Yeah.
And so you want it to be a nice place that you can really enjoy. Well, tell me, with all the hard work you've done, what would you say is the one thing that really sets you guys apart from your competitors? What's something you do better than the rest?
What sets us apart from our competitors, I would say, is, it sounds bad, but I would say the knowledge of the trade.
Yeah, I guess with 23 years of experience, you've been doing this for a while. You know some of the mistakes that can be made, and can help avert a lot of that.
Well, many walls require to be an engineered wall, and that's where you have anchor systems, drainage systems, all behind the wall that you wouldn't see. Where a lot of our competitors, they would build a tall wall the same as they would a small decorative wall, which doesn't have the same strengths. So it could really get dangerous.
Okay, and that part of what goes on there. And then, Vanessa, do you have to help people understand? Here's what you can do. Justin's explained to me why this is what we're going to be able to do, but here's something we can't do, but we're going to make it look right and make you happy.
right. Sometimes people have a hard time understanding when they're like, well, can't you just, cut these corners so that it ends up being a little cheaper? And it's like, we will not cut corners because it affects the structural integrity of your wall or your patio. And so it's already an investment. You know, we want you to invest in something that is going to last you until you're ready to change it, not because it fell apart or because somebody got hurt. So sometimes we just have to explain to people, you know.
And that's part of the reason we put our name on the business.
That's what we're talking
To
about.
hold us accountable. We've been here for a long time. People know our work. It's good work, and we'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, because we talk about that all the time. It's a matter of method. I mean, just if you're going to cut corners, you always are cutting something, so then you reduce the longevity. If you're cutting corners on how you slice up a popsicle, that's a weird, it's so basic, but I mean, but when you're putting together a 10, 20, 30, $50,000 landscaping job, you don't want to cut any corners because that's going to cause things to fall apart, and then you'll be fixing it again later. You run off and all kinds of problems you can run into. What happens when people cut corners? Are they really doing to themselves?
Well, usually we end up coming back and rebidding the project. If we didn't get it and they went with the cheaper bid, a lot of times we get calls back and we'll come in, and it usually ends up being more because now we have to remove everything that fell all over their yard, and it's dangerous, so it has to be urgent, and then we have to put it all back in. And so now, yeah, you saved $500, but 3 weeks later you're spending another $10,000.
Right.
And Vanessa, are you the one who has to explain that to everybody?
Sometimes. But I don't know. I think we do a good job explaining to people, and they
Do your research, and
they understand.
there's a reason there's Better Business Bureau and things like this. You can look up who's working at your home, because a lot of our competitors that are out this year weren't out last year. Just like a lot of our competitors next year aren't out this year. It's somebody that thought they could do it because they seen YouTube and quit their job and started trying it, and then very rarely do we have the same competitors years in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. That's somebody like yourselves who's been doing this for so long. You got the expertise. You know how to make sure these things last for a long time. And that's what I talk about. I mean, how often do we try to cut corners? We've talked about that. And then end up, I'll tell you one that I did myself, and that was running the wire across through the air. And that thing just kind of got loose, and I don't know. But just do it right. Bury that wire and make sure that it is run efficiently. One little minor thing, but when you're talking about putting in a retaining wall, I mean, how important can a retaining wall? Because you're literally, another one, I won't share where this happened, but the retaining wall fell over. Now they're trying to sell the house. What's the problem there? What are they going to run into?
Well, if you put a $10,000 retaining wall in, 90% of the time your equity went up $10,000. But if you put a $6,000 retaining wall that should have been $10,000, and now you have a burden because this thing's falling apart in your yard and you can't sell your home, or you have to pay to get it fixed before you can do anything.
And if it happens to be holding part of the home up, I mean, depending on how it happens, you might lose part of your house, literally.
Wow.
You know?
People need to do their homework, make sure that whoever's giving them a bid knows what an engineered wall is. They need to explain how they do their compaction, like we do in 3-inch lifts. Every 3 inches we run a certain compactor over all our rock that goes behind the walls. And then for patios, we have a whole different compactor that goes on top of the patios. They all have their own levels of compaction that they require.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Levels of compaction. Take note, everybody. There's lots you should have been taking note of here with this discussion, because there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge being shared to us by Justin and Vanessa. So we got a lot more to share here. We got about another 5 minutes left here in this segment. This is a half-hour segment. We're going to talk for another half hour with them. So get ready to take lots of notes. We got our pencil here for taking notes, but we want you to remember that. So that's why we got this pencil from the gas station.
There you go.
Can you believe that? But I said, I got to use that. I'll use that on my show. And would you hear that? But that'll keep you in line and let you take some. It does actually write. It's got lead. I just haven't had to erase anything. We don't want to have to do it. We got to break our eraser out. But take note and learn from what these experts in our community are sharing with us a little bit. All right. Well, tell me. We'll talk about this a little bit right now, but I want to get into this a little more depth. Often if there's one big mistake, or maybe you can talk about a few big mistakes, and we'll touch on this a little bit now, and then we'll finish up here. We'll start off the next show with some depth on that. But what's one big mistake that business owners typically make? I'm sorry, homeowners make when they're constructing something like this? Cutting corners, but what are they doing it themselves? How often? What are the biggest things that people do wrong that cause themselves a lot of problems?
I would say they go with just the cheaper bid without looking into, does it make more sense to go cheaper and they're still doing all the steps properly? It's all they see is the dollar signs. And so then they're like, well, you said $20,000 for this, but I found somebody to do it for $2,000. It's like, you can't even get your materials for that. Like the person that's doing it for $2 is not being honest with you, and you're not going to end up with a quality product. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing we run into.
Justin, along those lines?
Yeah, I would say the cheapest bid, like a lot of these walls that you see are really pretty, but when they're different shapes, the anchor system can't go in. So you got to sacrifice the anchor system when you're using different heights of stone. And then that's something that most homeowners don't know that they're sacrificing. So it's like, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just the bricks you see on the front. It's the 2 feet of gravel compacted all the way down, anchors, drains. There's a lot more that you really have to put in if you want this wall to stay.
Well, and that's kind of what happened at the facility I was talking about, and the wall just falling over. They said they didn't have any, I guess it was anchors behind it.
Geogrid.
And they've got these special kind of carved rocks that they lock in behind, I guess, or something. And it just fell apart, and this whole thing fell down.
Yeah.
And now instead of having a $10,000 retaining wall that looks beautiful, they've got a $10,000 repair. It's going to reduce what they can sell this place for.
And I bet you they probably got a bid from somebody that knew what they were doing. But they probably cost a little more.
And they wanted to, quote unquote, save money, everybody. And that's not the best. Cutting corners is not necessarily.
Well, a lot of people say just put the wall up, leave the dirt behind it, and that's fine. But it's not. That will push through. They'll push your wall over in time. And I can't put my name on that because my kids are going to take over this.
That's important, yeah. When you're willing to put your name on something, that build a brand and talk about what you're doing for longevity, because if that thing falls apart, like saying, who built that? Even if you did it and told them not to do it, you're going to say, no, we can't do it that way. It will not work for our long term. The Opperman name, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, great stuff, everybody. We're finishing up this segment. There's going to be a lot more great information on the second half of this show. Tune in for that. You'll find everything on our Your Little Castle Facebook, and all of our shows are on our YouTube channel. So just go do a quick search there, yourlittlecastle.com, and it links to all those. Or go to YouTube and type in Your Little Castle Show, and more information for you there. So stay tuned for all of that excitement and learn from our experts, because there's so many people that these days, the expertise they bring, it's hard to find people willing to share that kind of information like they've done here today. So give it up for Vanessa and Justin, experts taking the time to come visit us. It was a bit of a drive for you to get out to our
It was a little bit, yeah.
but probably worth it for all of us. Thank you, guys. Stay tuned for more, everybody. This is the Your Little Castle Show.